Namaste friends, welcome back to the Web Technologies Learning video series. We have been looking at different aspects of HTML so far. We have learned what is HTML and how it is related to HTTP. Today, we will learn about basic text formatting that can be done using HTML. You know, the HTML has a markup precisely so that the basic content which is in the text form can be beautified and shown when it is being shown to the end user, so that simple text can be made more appealing. This is one of the fundamental nature of HTML, one of the fundamental usages of HTML. Today we will see how some of whatever is possible with HTML can be done. If you have already learnt or went through the previous videos which talk specifically about tags and all those things, then it is good. Otherwise, I suggest you go over them once, get a thorough review, and then come back to this lesson, because each HTML lesson builds on the top of whatever has been previously taught in the previous videos. One of the fundamental things that we will do ever in a HTML page is to have content that is structurally organized. And how do we structurally organize text? Let's say you are writing an essay. If ever there is an essay that is to be presented to somebody else as a web page, we don't just want lot of paragraphs of text, lot of unending characters that are sitting next to each other. We want it to be somewhat structured. We will divide all the sentences into paragraphs. Sometimes if there are too many paragraphs, then we will divide them into sections. Each section has a heading. So there are headings, there are paragraphs, and then if there are too many headings, then we will have a higher level heading. And then to the top we have a beginning section or introduction paragraph, and towards the end we have a concluding paragraph. This is how typically we write any document or we develop a web page, especially if that has a lot of text, isn't it? Not just the headings and paragraphs. We will have some text that we want it to be shown with emphasis or bold. In some text we want it to be shown in italics, that slightly bent way of showing characters. Some text we want it to be shown with an underline, and so on and so forth. If you have ever done a Word document, then you will know what I am talking about. Now, how do we do all these things in HTML is what we are going to learn today. To aid our learning, I'll be taking the help of one of the best HTML websites, learning websites that is out there, the W3 Schools. So I recommend strongly that you go to the website and then do all the practices that are there in that website. First, we'll start with headings. So this is a website. It will tell you different aspects of HTML and how to do. It will also give a brief introduction. We'll start with HTML headings. Headings are things that you already know. We want headings for any text, right? Now, HTML supports different levels of headings. For example, each 6 headings or 7 levels of headings. The first level of heading, which is the first and foremost, is called heading 1. And the next level heading is called heading 2. By default, if we don't specify any additional styling, then the heading 1 is shown to be bigger, and then from that size, heading 2 is slightly smaller, heading 3 is even more smaller, and so on and so forth. We can define maybe 6 or 7 different levels of headings. Now, technically speaking, you can have as many levels of headings as we want. However, practically speaking, if there is a 6th level heading in the text, then we are not really writing a note or a document, but we are more writing like novels. So in which case we have to talk about different parts of the novel and different blocks of the novel and so on. So we try not to use that many levels of headings. We are basically consuming 2 or 3 levels of heading: heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3. How do we use these headings? How do we do these headings in HTML? There are tags that are called H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. So if you ever want the top level heading, heading 1, then we put the text that we want to show as a heading, which I am highlighting as heading 1, in a H1 paired tag. Okay. Likewise, if ever we want text which is a second level heading, we will put that inside the H2 tag, and so on and so forth. Let's try this. Okay. So here in this example, you have a H1 tag, H2 tag, and so on and so forth. When you run this web page using this run button, then the headings are shown as shown on the right hand side of the window. Let's change this default text for fun. War and peace. Second level heading is Leo Tolstoy. Then we'll see how it works. You see, War and Peace is shown with a bigger font, which is slightly bold. Leo Tolstoy, which is a H2 heading, is shown slightly smaller than the first level heading. It is also bold, but you can see that the heading 1 is more important in our document than heading 2. This is how the headings work. Anything that we want to be a particular way, a particular heading, we will have to put that in the corresponding H tag, which is a H1 or H2 or H3. Now, bear in mind that there is no restriction that H1 has to be the first one and not H2. You can start with the H6 heading, then H1 heading. So the structure is more determined by the document writer or the web page developer. It is not enforced by the browsers or the clients or even the HTML standard. But typically speaking, in a document, you have the bigger headings first, which is the chapter title, followed by the smaller headings and smaller headings, and so on and so forth. So it is usually structured to have a top level heading, which is H1 in the beginning, followed by H2. Okay, but then the standard itself does not restrict us to do any of that. So these are headings. Now we don't just have headings, we have headings and then text inside them. Imagine you are writing a document. The headings are essentially meant for people to understand what is there as in the content. The real content is in the paragraphs, which is somewhere after the headings, before the next heading. People would just look at the headings to understand what is in the document, and then they will read the actual paragraphs. How do we define a paragraph in HTML? Technically the answer is that you don't really have to do anything to identify a paragraph. If you just type anything in the HTML, it will show up as a paragraph. However, there is also a paragraph tag, which is the P tag. Okay, the HTML P tag defines a paragraph. Now there is a difference between using a P tag and not using a P tag while we are writing a paragraph in HTML. What is the difference? A P tag will allow you to add lot of style to all the content inside that paragraph, which is typically not possible if we just put it somewhere in the HTML but without any paragraph tag. So it is one of the most recommended practices to put your paragraphs inside a P tag. And P tag is a paired tag, which means that there is a P tag to start with, and after the paragraph there is a ending P tag. Okay. Now HTML clients will know when they see a P tag that a new paragraph is starting. So they typically always start a new paragraph on a new line. Okay, and they put some bit of a margin between the preceding text and the new paragraph. This is something that the standard will allow us to do or get from the client. Now, why should there be a new line? Can we not just put a new line just before the paragraph in HTML and then client automatically handles it? The answer is no. The any new lines or any blank lines that we put inside a HTML are automatically ignored by the client. You will see that in a moment. So see these two examples. There is one paragraph that is lot of lines, and there is another paragraph that is also lot of lines, but there are also lot of blank spaces between the words. Let's see how the browser displays these two paragraphs. You can see there in the example there are 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph, it has lot of lines, new lines, but you can see the paragraph is shown to be contiguous. No new lines from HTML are taken into the real display. Likewise, the second paragraph that I am highlighting has lot of spaces in between the words. But if you see how it is displayed, no additional spaces are displayed, just one space between the words. The third paragraph is just a sample paragraph, but if you resize the browser window, then the paragraph will adjust itself. This I think you already know. So these are paragraphs in HTML. Important things to remember: any empty lines we put in a paragraph or outside a paragraph are ignored by HTML. Any new lines that we put in a paragraph are ignored by the clients, and any additional spaces that we put in a paragraph are also ignored by the clients. All the text is shown to be contiguous. You can see that each paragraph in the output of the client is shown in a new line, right? So each paragraph is starting on a new line, and there is some margin between the 2 paragraphs that is there. So this is what is guaranteed. These are how paragraphs are, and if you ever read a book, a novel, then you will know that all paragraphs are more or less identically displayed, identically put in the book the way that the browser is putting, which is shown on the right hand side of this window. Okay, so I hope you understood the paragraphs. HTML headings and the paragraphs are the most important text formatting that we have in HTML. Now the question is, okay, if I put a blank line in HTML, we said the client ignores it. How do I put a blank line? Because sometimes I may need to have a blank line in between a paragraph. The answer is we use a horizontal ruler tag. Sorry, not horizontal ruler. There is a break tag. There is a tag called BR tag. Okay, what this BR tag tells is, whenever client sees a BR tag, whatever is following the BR tag will be put into a new line by the client. It doesn't really matter whether it is part of the same paragraph or not. Every time a BR tag is seen in the HTML, the browser will put the text after the following the BR tag in a new line. Let's see this example. I think that will make it very clear. There is a H1, which is the BR element, but see this paragraph. This paragraph appears as if it's the same line. However, there are multiple BR elements in the HTML, and every time there is a BR element, the browser or the client is breaking the output into a new line. This is the BR element or the BR tag. As you can see, the BR tag is seemingly an unpaired tag. Okay, there is no closing BR in the for usage in the HTML. Technically speaking, BR tag is actually a paired tag. It can be closed with a unclosing tag, but then the original definition of HTML apparently has BR as an unpaired tag, and that implementation exists in all browsers. Therefore, we don't really require to use a ending tag for a BR. It is an unpaired tag. Okay, so we just use one BR and it inserts a line break. Okay, it may not have an end tag. If you put an end tag, even then that's not an issue. When do we use this BR tag? Whenever we want a line break for mandatorily, and because the line breaks are removed by the clients otherwise. Manual line breaks are removed. To enforce a line break, we use a BR tag. Okay, I hope it is clear. Then, okay, so I have headings, I have paragraphs. Okay, but how do I put some styling? I want to see some bold text. How do we do? There are some formatting tags that are available in HTML that we can use to get the kind of display of the rendering of the content that we want. Two most important formatting tags are the bold tag and the italics tag, which is a B tag and a I tag. There are many other tags that are possible. We will not go through every single technically available tag that is in HTML. We will just cover some of the important ones. The very important one is the B tag. It is a paired tag, and if a client sees a B tag and a closing B tag, it renders all the text between these two tags, between the beginning tag and the ending tag, in the bold font. See this. This text is bold is because it is put under a B tag. Let's see. You can see this text is bold is put in between the beginning tag, beginning B tag and a ending B tag, and therefore the text is rendered in bold. Likewise, if you want anything in italics, which is that slightly forward bent text, then that text has to be used within a I tag, I standing for italics. So there is I tag. I tag is also a paired tag. It is a beginning, there is a beginning I tag and there is a closing I tag. Whatever we put in between this beginning and the closing I tags is rendered in italics. And then another usage of formatting, another different way of formatting, if you ever write, let's say for example, if you are doing some mathematical display and then you want to say 10 base 2, or you want to say x square, then you know that you want to display, in the case of 10 base 2, the 2 has to be displayed as a subscript, which is slightly below the line of writing. And if ever you want to display x square, then the 2 after x should be displayed slightly above the line of writing. So these are called subscripts and superscripts. And the subscript, there is a tag called sub, which you can use to get a subscript. It is a paired tag. There is a beginning sub tag and there is an ending sub tag. Whatever is there in between these two, you can see is displayed slightly below the line of writing. And there is a sup tag. This is for superscript. This is also a paired tag. Whatever is there between the beginning superscript tag and the ending superscript tag is shown slightly above the line of writing. Let's see how we can see 10 base 2 and x square. So we'll say 10 subscript 2, we'll close the tag, and x square. So square has to be in the superscript. We'll close the paragraph. Let's run. You can see the 2 is shown as a subscript, and then you can see clearly say this is 10 base 2. Likewise, x square is properly displayed. Anybody who looks at this reads as x square. But we did not really write x square in our HTML. Rather, we just use the subscript tag and the superscript tag to get the desired effect the way that we want it. These are some of the important text formatting tags that are available in HTML. We went through bold, we went through how to make a text bold, how to make some text italics, and how to use the superscript and subscript. There are some other tags also. Strong is same as bold, semantically speaking. Likewise, M is the same. M standing for emphasis is same as the I tag, again technically speaking. Why do I say technically speaking? Because if ever you have a client that is capable of reading a HTML document and reading out text, okay, it can read out text. For example, maybe you are familiar with things like Alexa and Google Home, where they can read out things for you. Now, if ever you have a bold text in your HTML, how does Alexa read it out? If it is displaying, it can display bold text, but if it is not displaying, but if it is reading it out, how does it read out? So if you ever put a strong tag instead of a bold tag, that is an indication for Alexa to say it has to lay some additional emphasis to indicate the importance. Likewise, if you put an M tag, which is standing for emphasis, then it can read out with such an emphasis those text. But if your HTML document is only for, say, for a browser to display your document, then you probably are not required to use these elements, these tags. There is a small tag, again a pair tag, which can show smaller text. There is a corresponding big tag. Okay, so these are some of the formatting tags that we have in HTML. Using this, we can pretty much achieve whatever kind of simple formatting that we want. Now, there are some additional formatting tags that I am introducing now. One is a quotation tag. There are two kinds of quotations. For example, you can see in this example on the screen, somebody is saying they are referring to some paragraph from some other book or a text. This is what is called a block quote. Okay, so if you can specify this in HTML, if you want to specify such a quotation, that is called using a block quote HTML tag. This is a pair tag, and whenever we use a block quote pair tag, the browsers typically indent as a means of quoting the requisite text. So this is a pair tag, so therefore whatever text is there between the beginning block quote and the ending block quote tags is displayed with an indent, which is essentially the browser's way of saying this is a block quotation. Now there is a simple quotation also, a short quotation. There is a Q tag for it. Now how does this get displayed? This just gets typically displayed only with a punctuation marks, Okay, so these are quotations. We have seen the quotation. The next one that we should see is a HR tag. What is a HR tag? If ever you want to put a line between two paragraphs, for example, how do you draw a line? You draw a line using a HR tag. Just look at this example. Here there are several paragraphs, but then there are horizontal lines that are separating the paragraphs. See this paragraph and then see the next paragraph. These are these two paragraphs in when the browser renders them. But then there is a HR tag. HR tag is instead displayed as a line. You can see HR tag is not a paired tag. There is no closing HR tag. This is just the simple unpaired tag. But then it is translated to a continuous solid black line that is stretching from the left edge of the window to the right edge of the window. Why am I giving so many adjectives to this? I could have just said there is a line. The reason is you can change the color of this line from say black to something else. Likewise, you can also say when it should start, where it should start on the screen and where it should end, how much percentage wise width of the screen that this line should use, by using different attributes that are available for the HR tag. Okay, so using the HR tag you can put a horizontal line on the screen. These are some of the important formatting that we have in HTML. With this, we can pretty much do whatever kind of formatting that we want. We can put headings, we can put paragraphs, we can put bold text, italics text, and everything, right? We can even have new lines, and we can put a horizontal ruler. We can code some text, all those things we can do. But there is one thing that we all want to do, but so far something that we have not covered. How do I put some text in one font versus another set of text in another font? Isn't this we do? We put some text in Arial, but sometimes the other parts of the text we want it in Courier New. You have your own preference for fonts. The fonts are mostly personal preference. But the key things here so far is we never specified any font in our HTML, and still the browsers are rendering them in some font. So these are default fonts. These are what we call as default fonts. If ever there is no specification of any specific font that is required to be used in the HTML, then the clients are allowed to make a choice of their own fonts for rendering on the screen. However, there is a tag called font tag that we can use to specify, to say this particular paragraph should be rendered in this font. Let's see. That's the font tag. Now see this not supported in HTML, not supported in HTML5. In the last class we have seen that most of the formatting of the text is supported in HTML, but people no longer use HTML for such formatting. Rather, people would want to use CSS for it. This is one such font, one such tag. In this, we don't really cover the font tag because there are no examples out there on the screen. There is a font tag, but it is not supported in HTML5. So that's where we stop covering the font tag. Okay, so we conclude the lesson for today with this. We have covered a lot of textual formatting for HTML. There may be some more tags that we'll cover in subsequent classes. Thank you.